Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 10 of the extra time sessions that we have been doing. So for anyone who doesn't watch my channel, we have been doing reruns, and we did 100 of, the mass making sessions. We did 100 reruns, and now we've been doing 10 weeks of what I will call in extra time, which is where we're making 10 weeks worth of things that, we hadn't ever made before in a mass making session. So what have I got today? We are the last one. So I thought I'd best try and pull something out of the bag, really. Now, I've got an idea. I haven't even made a prototype, so to be honest, I probably should have before we came on to film, but fingers crossed it's going to work out. Now, I'm just a bit concerned that my camera's slipping. Hold on a second. Right, fingers crossed. Okay, so I'm going to keep my eye on the camera. So yes, this is something that I have not made before, but that I've kind of played around with in my head, and I think it's going to work quite nicely. So it's going to be a trifold vintage pocket wallet, perhaps we will call it, something like that. A trifold vintage pocket wallet. Let me just sort out my camera, hold on. Okay, fingers crossed that's a bit better. So, right, what are we doing? So, if you want to join along and make these along with me, like I say, I haven't even done a prototype, so this is just a fingers crossed kind of thing. You're going to need some patterned paper. Now, I say this every week, but I'm using printables. That's because that's what I predominantly have these days. Obviously, you don't have to use printables. I mean, for this project, in my head, anything rectangular would work. So you could use book page, you could use sheet music, you could use scrapbooking paper. Again, like I say, quite often, wouldn't suggest the very thick scrapbooking paper, but anything else. Now, my paper that I have printed onto, it is 110, I think it is, or it might be 120 GSM. I'm so sorry. I do apologise. I can never remember which of those it is. 110 or 120 GSM. And it's kind of like a presentation-y paper, so it's thicker than copy paper, which I find very, very flimsy. But it's still very much a paper. But it gives a really nice quality print. Now, I've printed off a bunch of printables. So that's that. You're going to need potentially some scissors. Now, I'm not even sure whether you're going to need scissors. It depends whether we're going to incorporate what I think might work or might not work. We're going to see. If you do incorporate the thing that I'm thinking might work, you will need some glue, but we might not necessarily need glue. You'd need something to, to spread your glue. So maybe like a glue spreader. I'm down to this at the moment. So, yeah, pretty rubbish. You may need a bone folder or a, not chopping board, but, scoreboard, if you like to use those types of things. Then what we're going to use is we're going to use staples. Now, I'm going to use big staples, and you'll see what I mean in a minute, for the pages, okay? And I'm going to use my small Tim Holtz tiny attacher to staple my pockets together. So we're not gluing the pockets together, we're stapling them. And again, this will all make sense once we make one in a moment. So you're going to need some staplers, or a stapler. I'm using both because I'm lucky enough to have both. If you don't have both, a normal stapler is going to be absolutely fine for this. Please don't think that you need to have the tiny attacher. Then what you're going to need is a bunch of plain papers to use as your inside pages, okay? And again, all this is going to come apparent once we get making one. So just a bunch of plain papers. Now, I've brought along a lot of vintage ephemera, which I've got lots of these lovely documents pages, which are lovely because they're very flimsy. They're going to make lovely inner pages for my pieces. And again, you're going to see once we get making. So I've got lots of those. I've got some food coloured pages. I've got some internal envelope pages. I've got some coffee dyed pages. All just different, pages to put for my inner pages. I think that's all we're going to need. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to need. But like I said, I haven't made them before. So we may find that actually we need extra once we come to make them. So let's move the papers out of the way. The only other thing that I would say is I'm going to try and make these very vintagey looking, a bit like the Rachel's Roxy Creations pockets that we made last week. So you may want to coffee dye your papers. Mine are coffee dyed. And you know, that also makes it, when you see the insides, which you're going to see the insides, it's going to make it look very attractive. So, you know, it's up to you how you kind of do these, but I would recommend coffee dyeing the insides or both sides, you know, before you get making. Right, okay, that being said, so what are we going to do? Right, you're going to take your piece of paper, okay, we're going to fold up what we're going to have as our bottom pocket, like that. Oh, and these papers, these are my new Christmas kit, which I finally got completed. Let me just quickly show you that just before we get started. So I'm going to show you, I've got two colorways. I've got this vintage option, which, as you can see, it's a more muted version. It's the same pages, but it's more muted and dulled down to give you a sort of more vintagey look. And then you've got the Brights pages, which are, of course, more vibrant. So I'm just going to show you a couple of the Brights pages that haven't been coffee dyed. So like that. Now, I personally, I mean, I'm quite a you know, colour lover. So I really like the Brights colourway, but, you know, I realise that's not for everyone, which is why I've done the two different colours. So just to give you a kind of example, these obviously that I'm using, these have been coffee dyed, but this is the same page for the two different kits. So this is the Brights, this is the vintage, and it's called a dog's just not for Christmas, not just for Christmas. A dog's just not just for Christmas. Ah, that was a mouthful. And you get an ephemera part to the kit and a background pages part. So, of course, you don't have to purchase it all. You could just purchase the background pages, or you could just purchase the ephemera pages. But, of course, because I've got my lovely addition to the family this year, my lovely doggy, oh, I just thought a dog-themed Christmas kit was going to be absolutely gorgeous. So, I hope you do like it. It's in my Etsy shop. Right, okay, that being said. So you're going to take your piece of paper, you're going to fold your pocket up. Now, again, this is going to be up to you, really, how big you want your pocket. I've done mine probably, you know, that's probably like a third or something like that up the page. But again, you know, completely and utterly up to you how far you want to do it. Then you're going to take your page and you're going to just fold it over. Now, this is where we're making our trifold wallet. Okay, now this is where you may want your bone folder or your scissor handles. So we're going to just squish it down like this. Okay, and then you're going to take your other side and you're just going to fold it over like that. Now, this is where we have the optional extra. So I'm not going to come on to the optional extra just yet. I'm going to open it back out and show you how we're going to close this pocket up now. So a bit like Rachel last week, she did this gorgeous thing where she just folded over the pages, making it look a bit more scrumpled, a bit more vintage. Now here in the middle, we've got these, you know, one joined piece of paper. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a little tear here, and I'm going to do it like that, just so I've got that same ability to crumple down that centre pocket. And if you're thinking, well, that looks rubbish because you can see it all next to each other, you're not going to in a moment, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so we'll just then, you know, do the same here, you know, just so it's yummy. I've just got nail varnish on that for some reason. Right, okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to take our blank sheets and we are going to make some pages. Now, this is how your document wallet is going to be forming the pockets, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to take it like this, and we're just going to cut these down. So, I mean, obviously these are going to be sideways on. That doesn't bother me, but, you know, it maybe would bother some people. Oops. And I've just chosen this because, you know, obviously it's got text on one side and it's blank on the other. So I thought that was rather nice because you've got the sort of elements of the vintageness, the vintage yumminess. And of course you've got, you know, plain for journaling. Okay. So, and this is very nice, very thin paper. So it's not going to bulk my piece out. So obviously my pages, if I'm using kind of just coffee dyed paper or anything, again, I wouldn't go for anything thicker than, you know, copy paper or this kind of paper. I would try and keep it, the thinner the better, really. So we've got that, and then I can just put in maybe another page. And actually what I might do is mix it in with another sheet from the Christmas kit. So, and this is where I find the other pages that I did on the Christmas kit. They were all of the vintage colourway. Yep. Oh, it was bound to happen, wasn't it? Well, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So I can take this gorgeous yummy page here and just incorporate this. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this down to form a couple of pages. So like that. Okie dokie. And just then cut that down. Okay. And then I like to just use my folds as my cutting guide. So I've just folded that over there, and then I know that's roughly where I need to fold it to get the height right for the papers. So like that. Okay. And that's the little off cut, which of course I won't throw that away because I might want that for something else. So there we go. We've got some inner pages. Okay. We could do with one more probably, but I don't really want to have that sideways on. Oh dear. It's very annoying now. I am now finding I've not bought enough pages. Oh, here we go. Do you think that goes okay? It's not too bad, is it? So again, just going to fold this in, use this as my guide. And to be honest, I might be able to... trying to see how I'm going to get the maximum pages. So, right, I'm going to just trim that down here. So if I just mark it there, like that. Okie dokie, and then just fold that over. So, I mean, please ignore my cutting methods and my, you know, my measuring and marking methods. Obviously, you know, this is your project. You must cut, you know, and score and things like that, just, you know, how you find easiest. I'm just kind of doing it in my shoddy, weird methods because that's how I find it easiest. But, you know, just use the method that suits you best. So don't feel you have to kind of follow my lead. So there we go. We've got some inner pages now. So all we're going to do, we're going to take our big stapler and we're going to staple this into here. So now I've got this really nifty stapler, bought it from Amazon, and oops, can't remember how to use it. Aha, right. And it comes out like this. So then you can staple in where you wouldn't normally be able to get to. Can't remember, I'm afraid, what this was called, but it might have been something like a multi-arm stapler, something like that. But yeah, I've only had it for a little while, and I've only used it, to be honest, once or twice because I mislaid it when it first arrived. But I just thought I would share it with you guys because I think it's going to be pretty handy for things like this. Okay, so you've got that one, and then you can go in this side and just staple it here. And in fact, I might do 3 staples. So we'll do one up there. Okay, and then just one roughly in the middle. Okay. There we go. So that's how my little pocket is being secured. Like that. Okay, and then all we're going to do is on the outer edge, we're going to staple this. Now, again, what I'm going to do is I will probably put some lace on here. So I'm going to put my staples so that this rough edge is actually on the inside, because I'm more likely to decorate the inside than the outside, if that makes sense. But again, you know, do it how you fancy doing it. But I just kind of think, well, actually, I'm probably more likely to decorate that piece. And then what you're going to do is obviously take your other 2 pages, and they're going to slip into there. Now I need to trim mine down a bit, otherwise this isn't going to close. Okay, so just take that down a bit. like that, and just trim the top because I didn't get that very neat either. Okay, so this then is going to go in this side like that. Okay, so again, take my little multi-arm stapler and then just, oops, oh, I went to use it totally the wrong way, like the conventional way. So one staple there. Okay, and then we can go in and do a middle staple. Now this is not very easy because, I'm so sorry, I'm having to pick this up because my light's on and I'm not wanting to get my head in the camera, and to be honest, the shadow is literally blocking out where I can see whether, oh gosh, whether I've got this in the middle. So I'm so sorry about this, having to keep picking this up, but it's really not very easy to see at all with the light on. So okay, there we go, and then we just staple this here. Now I'm probably making this stapler look awful, but it honestly is quite nifty, to be honest. But yeah, it's just where I'm having to pick the piece up because I can't really see at the moment. So that's my little pocket, and then this pocket obviously comes over the front. Now I could probably do with just trimming these pages down just a fraction as well. And this is why obviously measuring is probably advantageous, but you know me, I like to not measure. So what you've got is you've got your middle pocket here, you've got your end pocket there, your pockets are held in the middle obviously with the page staples, and then you've got this side. Now this was where I hadn't quite kind of fathomed out what to do here, so we shall have a look at this together. I'm kind of wondering whether what we could do is have a little foldy edge, so then it would actually be a little trifoldy kind of wraparound. Okay, you might find you'd rather chop it off here and it would just, you know, would just close like that. Okay, so you'd have then a snip off here. But if you didn't want to do that, what I'm thinking is, yeah, I'm thinking this. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is just to thicken this up slightly, okay? So I'm kind of thinking, tear this down so as we've got sort of a more decorative looking edge, okay? So I'm going to glue this in. Now, this is where I said that the glue was going to be optional for this piece, because if you did not do this wraparound, you wouldn't actually need any glue whatsoever for this whole project. You know, it's a glue-free project. And to be honest, you know, we don't have many glue-free projects, do we? So, you know, just from that perspective, you might want to miss out this step because you might think, oh, it's, you know, it's quite nice doing a glue-free project. But I just thought this was quite a nice addition if you fancied it. Okay, so we have just now, you know, reinforced this edge, thickened it up. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put this like this, and we're going to fold this over to form a wraparound piece. Okay, so squish that down like that. Now at this point, you can obviously just staple this in because we're, you know, we're all about the staples, aren't we, today? So again, what I'm going to do is this time I'm going to staple it on the outside, because in this particular instance, I'm more likely to decorate this side than the other side. Okay, like that. I'm just going to trim off this little overhanging piece. And that just happens, you know, when you've folded a couple of times, you know, your paper goes kind of a bit skew-iff, and that's why you get that. Okay, so then what you've got is you've got this little edge as a little trifold. And what I would do is probably put some lace down here that would cover those staples up. And then you open it up, you've got then a nice pocket here. You could always put, you know, a staple in here as well, if you wanted, just to make sure that that pocket's, you know, held down really nicely. So just like that. and then your pocket's actually kind of finished off rather than sort of flapping around. But then, you know, you could put an eyelet or something in this side, little wraparound closure, you know, however you like really, but it's just a really, really squishy, lovely little wallet. So yeah, that's my idea for today's mass making. A little bit long-winded with the tutorial, so I really do apologise for that. We'll try and make another one now, and hopefully I will, you know, I will try and be a bit quicker and a bit more concise, and then we'll do some, you know, mass making of these. So let's put that on to one side. So I've got here some of my damask papers. So all I'm going to do, this is from the Rich Damask, I'm going to again bring this up approximately a third. And when I say approximately, you know, it really doesn't matter too much. It's, you know, it's not a big deal. And then you're going to fold your first pocket in. Now it's up to you how wide you do this. You know, you could take this completely to the entire, you know, proper in thirds, if you see what I mean. And then you wouldn't have this excess where you could have the wrap round. You could just then, you know, go right to the edge, and that's your whole sheet of paper. I personally think they're quite nice being, you know, slightly narrower and slightly taller, but completely up to you. You know, you don't have to do it, you know, exactly as I'm doing it or anything like that. So again, going to take a couple of my sheets of the vintage document. Okay, so again, just pop that in like that. Just trim that down. Okie dokie. Oops. Like that. Okay, and then might marry it up even with some of this. So this is from my Belgian blue kit, but yeah, it goes really nicely, doesn't it, with that Rich Damask. So I'm going to just do that. So again, just going to use this as my guide for roughly, you know, where I want to fold my page in. So like that. Okay. Cut that down. Now, unfortunately, you can't then get your other page out of the same page, if that makes sense. You could do, probably, if you were doing it this way, but obviously then my page would be, you know, upside down. Although, to be honest, I might have to do that just because, yeah, I probably prefer them all being the same paper. And actually, to be honest, now I've turned it upside, you know, or sideways. I actually don't mind it, to be honest. I thought it was going to look awful, but yeah, I actually don't mind it. So I'll just check which way round I want it. So, yep, like that. Okie dokie, fold that in. Okay, there we go. Use this as my guide to cut this one down. Whoops, like that. Keep hold of this because I may want it for something else. You never know. Okay, take my vintage document. So we're going to put a sheet in here. Okay. Now again, do you remember on the pockets we just tore a little bit down here? So again, just going to do that here. And that's, you know, that's not an essential step. It's just so that I can have this little torn detail in there. Okay. So we're going to put this one in here. Like that. Okay. And again, take my stapler. Okie dokie. And then just... The 3 works quite nicely, and hopefully then we're kind of just about getting the, you know, the pocket clamped as well, which is quite good. And then just one here, sort of nearer the bottom. Oh, it's a bit tricky, I'll be honest, to use this stapler holding it. It's better when you've got it down. But like I say, it's just that the shadow is obviously causing me to not be able to see properly to do it downwards. Then you're going to take this edge, do your little foldy piece. And like I say, I mean, that's not an essential detail, but I just thought that looked so nice on the Rachel pockets that we made last week that, you know, I think that's quite a nice addition. I'm just checking whether I need to trim this in slightly more. I do. So, yeah. take that down like that. Okie dokie. Oops. Open that out. Okay, and then again go roughly to the middle. Okay, and then just this one. I mean, I think the 3 staples is quite good because you do then capture that pocket, you know, higher up, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I think that's quite good. Right, okay, so then want to just staple this. Now, do you recall last time we stapled it, you know, this way round because we said we'd probably have lace, you know, on the inner edge. So again, just going to do that here. Okay, like that. And then here at the front, we've got, again, we can have the wraparound or not. So for this one, I'm just going to take some other paper to put inside. Do you remember we tore it down and we had just that, you know, torn sort of edge, which I just think that looks a bit more attractive and a bit more interesting than having, you know, completely straight. So this, again, this is some vintage document. I mean, this just happens to be laying about on my desk, so that's why I'm using, you know, this type of stuff. So yeah, what we could do is just tear this down here like that. Okay, so actually that's not very jaggedy, so I'll just make it a bit more jaggedy there. Okie dokie. I can always trim this down, so if you're thinking, oh, that's very scraggly on the top edge, it doesn't matter because I can always tear that down. So like that. And you know, have you noticed how we're just sticking it on the top? Because this part obviously is kind of reinforced anyway, you know, down here, so you don't really need to have that whole reinforcement going on down the bottom. So again, just then squish this down like that. Okay, like that. And then here, did we staple that or did we glue it? Yeah, we stapled that. I couldn't remember then. I thought, oh, did we staple it? I couldn't remember. So we just then go in with our stapler. So yeah, I'll just use my tiny attacher for this. So just go down here. 1, 2. Okie dokie. And again, we've got just that little skewer bit coming out on the side. So just then trim that up down that side bit like that. And then do you remember we did just 2 staples here? And again, you can just do that tear here, you know, just so as we're folding this pocket over and making it look a little bit more vintage. And then here, we can just do a couple of staples in here. That's just forming like a, what would you call that? What's that called? Well, anyway. It's just finishing the pocket kind of off at the edge. And then just at the top, I've just got that straggly edge. So I'll just trim that down like that. And then, you know, of course you could alter these. You could like round your corners on your little wraparound flap and things. You know, just do a couple of different little things. But they're very cute, aren't they? You know, I just think there's something a little bit different. And yeah, just look sort of quite cute, really. So that's that one. So we're going to just assembly line these. So when I say that, I'm just meaning I'm going to do all stages in one go. So I'm going to take all my papers, I'm going to fold them up a third, I'm going to then fold them in, fold some pages, then do all the stapling and things. So now, I must not be over ambitious because I suspect I'm not going to get very many of these done because I've just looked at the clock. I think it says 28 minutes, which, wow. Can't believe I've actually been filming for 28 minutes already. That's whizzed by like nobody's business, to be honest. So, right, okay. So I've got this one. Now, do we want to use this? Let's just see. Yep, we can do this, actually. Because as it happens, I had printed this, you know, like upside down. So, yeah, works quite well. So this is my French collection papers, and this is, oh my goodness, I can't remember now what that one's called. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I just completely, my mind's gone completely blank. Anyway, it is in my Etsy shop, and you may recognise it on the thumbnail. I'm so sorry. And then we take this one and we just do same there, folding that over like that. Okay, so I mean, ordinarily I wouldn't have necessarily put those papers together, but they actually look pretty good together, don't they? I have coffee dyed them all. I have coffee dyed all the papers that I'm using today, so yeah, just so we have a really, you know, really vintagey kind of look. So I've done my little folds in there, okay, and that's that. So that's that piece. Let's take the next one. So this is my Cambridge garden, and it is backed onto this pale damask. So I need to be a little bit more careful with this. I need to have it this way round, because otherwise my birds would be upside down on the front. So again, just going to fold that in and like that. So I'm going to stop talking us through now, and we'll just have a relax and have a catch up. So I hope everybody's week has started out well. For those people who watch my channel, you will know that I film these videos on a Monday, ready to go up for you guys on the Tuesday. So my week has only just started. It's another rainy day. Honestly, we've had like nothing but rain this whole winter so far. So I don't know whether it's going to just continue like this for the whole winter, but oh, it's just diabolical, to be honest. I think, was it dry at the weekend? No, it was raining yesterday. I think it was dry on Saturday. Do you know, I honestly can't even remember, to be honest. But anyway, if it was dry on Saturday, it was freezing cold, if I recall, on Saturday. So yeah, we're getting kind of like, you know, strange weather. One day it's like freezing but sunny, and then, you know, suddenly we're back to rain. So yeah, it's all a bit rubbish. Right, this is from my Junk Journal Basics Kit 2 papers. So this one, as you can probably see, it's not quite printed borderless. I'm not going to worry too much about that. I may trim it up afterwards if I feel it's, you know, looking really, really rubbish. But we'll just kind of see how we get on with it like this. So there we go. And then, yeah, just going to fold it into the thirds. And then we'll just kind of, you know, decide whether we're going to trim it down. So what have I been up to since last week? Well, I went to the cinema and watched Napoleon. So last Wednesday, I did say that I was going to try and watch Napoleon. And yes, I did also say that I was not very good with my history knowledge of that kind of period. So yeah, I learned some stuff. Now, the good news was, because I was a little bit like, not sure really whether that's my cup of tea of a film, because it looked very war. Well, I mean, obviously it was going to be about the war, but or wars. But, you know, I wasn't sure whether it was going to be just like on the battlefield constantly and nothing else. Because, you know, I mean, I might be making a sweeping statement here, but I don't think us women really enjoy films like that generally. I might be wrong, and maybe I'm in the minority. I'm going to cut that border off. But yeah, I personally don't really enjoy that type of thing. Anyway, I was very pleasantly surprised, because there were actually probably only like 3 what I would call battlefield scenes. And they didn't last that long, maybe like 10 minutes each or something. And the rest of the film was more chatting and, you know, conversation and things like that. And what I was very pleasantly surprised about, there was actually a bit of a love story in there. So I was not aware that Napoleon, you know, I mean, yeah, again, I might be making a sweeping statement, because I didn't really know anything about Napoleon. I did not know that he'd had this wild kind of love for this woman who he did marry, but subsequently they had to then oh, what did they call? The dissolution of their marriage. I'm not sure. Anyway, they had to, you know, dissolve their marriage, or, I mean, I guess we would call it divorce, but yeah, I'm not sure really why they didn't call it that. Okay, what else have I got here? Oh, I've got this one. So this is my purple lace collection papers, and on the back this is another page from the Junk Journal Basics. Now, just want to check which way round I want to have this. I think that's quite nice, actually. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, anyway, wasn't aware, but he actually had this kind of like, you know, kind of love story, I suppose, going on with this woman, because he really did kind of like worship this woman. Now I have to say, he was very strange with his behaviour in his courting of her and things. She was also a little bit peculiar, but hey, that's just my opinion. But or maybe that was just how they portrayed it in the film. Again, I don't really know. But so for me, that really kind of like kept my interest, and I was kind of really pleasantly surprised that there was a bit of a sort of love story going on in that film. So yeah, I'd really recommend it. It was a really good film. Yeah, really enjoyed it. It was very, very good, very well done. And it was nice, obviously, seeing all of the beautiful, you know, like the interiors of the beautiful buildings back then, and you know, the beautiful costumes and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of like during the 1700s, and just, yeah, beautiful, you know, buildings, beautiful costumes, beautiful furniture, you know, like all that wood paneling in the rooms and things like that. So yeah, I mean, for me, that in itself was just a treat and kind of worth watching the film just for that alone. So, you know, I really kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. I might just fold this down, because just suddenly thought then I wouldn't have to do it on this side, would I? So yeah, a little bit of an idea there. Right, okay. So I've got this one. Now, this is my new clocks kit, which I still haven't put in my shop. I do apologise for anyone who's waiting for it, because I had shown it briefly last week, and I said that I was hoping to get it in my shop, in my Etsy. Obviously, that went out the window because I was really focusing on my Christmas kit. So I didn't really work on this again for the whole of last week. But rest assured, this is coming very soon now. I just need to do a few tweaks and finishing touches. But yeah, like I say, it just kind of like took a back seat because I was obviously, you know, time was of the essence with the, I nearly said the kitchen kit. No, the Christmas kit. So yeah. Anyway, so that was really, really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that was good. What else did I do? I watched something on TV that I thought I would mention, and now I can't remember for the life of me what that was. Oh, I'm sorry about that. But last night I started watching something called, I think it's called The Boat Story. Now, this was on ITV Player. And again, you know, lately I'm just going with whatever, you know, the TV kind of recommends, because I can't be bothered with the whole flicking through the channels and then watching nothing, quite frankly. So I thought I'm just going to go with, you know, whatever the suggested viewings are. You know, and that way I do actually kind of watch something. Well, I have to say it was very late by the time that I put this on, and I watched no more than probably about 7 minutes before I fell asleep. So yes, I'm yet to see it, but those 7 minutes, it looked like it was going to be very, very, very good. So The Boat Story on BBC One, that was. So I would really recommend that so far. Like I say, I only watched about 7 minutes. Who knows? It might really deteriorate. It might turn out it's rubbish. I don't know. But so far, so good. So yeah, one to recommend. So I'm going to hopefully try and watch the rest of that tonight, probably. Although I probably won't get to watch it tonight, because we normally put our Christmas tree up on the 1st of December. I'm sure I said this last week. Now, the 1st was Friday. Now, my daughter, she was at her dad's this weekend, so I did not watch. Watch? What am I talking about? No, nothing to do with watching. I did not, or we did not put up the tree, because obviously putting up the tree is a family thing, and she was obviously not going to be here. So yeah, we've saved that and we're doing that tonight. So hence I may not get to watch that programme after all tonight, but if not, I shall probably watch it tomorrow night, all being well. So yeah, but it looked very good. So that's what I've been watching on TV. Saturday, I had like a day with my middle son, and we just like hung out. We had like the nicest day. We did like hardly anything, I have to say. I did some work. Obviously, I was working on my, you know, my Christmas kit. So, but aside from that, what did we do? We went and had a Costa, and we bought some baking, you know, baking ingredients. I nearly said materials. No, not materials. Ingredients. Baking ingredients, and we did some baking. So out of practice. I barely cook or bake or do anything like that. Nothing domesticated goes on at all from me anymore. So yeah, actually did like some baking with him. So that was really nice. He baked a gingerbread cake. I'm not sure whether that's someone knocking on my door. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. There's some banging going on outside. I don't think it's my door. Yeah, he baked a gingerbread cake. Now, I'm a vegan. Well, I'm not a vegan. Please don't think that I'm a vegan. Not that there's anything wrong with vegans, but I don't want to say I'm something when I'm not. I'm not a vegan, but I generally eat mainly a vegan diet. So I'm a vegetarian, you know, for sure. You know, I've never eaten meat for, you know, 30 years. But yeah, I'm not a vegan, but I don't very often eat dairy. So, you know, other than my hot chocolate when I go to Costa, I don't generally have any dairy really. You know, I have like soya milk if I have anything with milk. I have cheese alternative, you know, like vegan type cheeses if I have anything cheesy. So yeah, and not for any particular reason, but just, you know, I started doing it, and then I thought, well, actually, you know, I've started now, so I might as well continue. So let's just take this down. So yeah, I made a vegan banoffee pie. Haven't made one of those for ages. Mine was a little bit of a disaster, it's got to be said, because I of course don't really do any cooking or baking if I can help it anymore. So yeah, mine was pretty rubbish, but hey, I was probably like the only person who's likely to eat it. So, and I say was because so far, you know, I have been the only person eating it, but it's still in the fridge. So I mean, it may, you know, it may get other people eat it, I suppose, but yeah, probably not, to be honest, all the time that the gingerbread cake is sat there. But yeah, so we had a really nice time. We then watched the film called Focus, which is like one of the films on Netflix at the moment. Again, it's just one of those, you know, #1 in the UK today, or, you know, one of those recommended films. So again, no flicking through the channels or anything. We just said, shall we watch that? Saves us flicking through. Yeah, so we did that. Oh my goodness, we had such a nice time. You know, like just the day actually whizzed by. Because by the time that I'd come back from the gym and then, you know, did a bit of work, it was like lunchtime already, really. But yeah, we just had a really nice time, like hanging out together. So that was lovely. Yeah, that was kind of the weekend, really. And then yesterday, the weather was back to absolutely foul. So really did not a lot at all. Again, went to Costa again with my son, and then just picked up some bits of shopping that we needed. That was pretty much it, really, for the whole day. We had a roast dinner, you know, cooked a roast dinner. Yeah, that was kind of it, really. So not really kind of like had a very exciting weekend. Still not started my Christmas shopping. Yeah, I'm still resisting that. I'm not really resisting, to be honest. I'm just not in the Christmas zone. Maybe I will get there eventually, but at the moment, I'm kind of busy with other things, and so it's not really entered my head that Christmas is looming. What will happen is suddenly Christmas will be here, and then I'll be like, sorry that I hadn't paid a bit more attention to Christmas looming. But anyway, doesn't really matter. So yeah, haven't started or anything, but I quite like that last minute rush anyway. So just kind of, let's how I seem to do everything, is last minute rush. So why be any different about Christmas? That's what I say. Okay. Right, now I'm just wondering whether I should do these like this, or if I cut in here, probably get the maximum pages, won't I? So yeah, let's do it like that. Okay. Here we go. So on Friday, I've got my gym Christmas meal. So lovely lady at the gym, my lovely friend at the gym, she has organised a Christmas do for everybody. So I think there's quite a lot of us going, I think about 14. So yeah, really looking forward to that. That should be really fun. We are going to a restaurant that we have over here called Bill's. It's a set Christmas menu. So we all picked our meal quite a while ago and paid our deposit and things. So yeah, it looks like a nice menu. I can't remember now what I picked. I did write it in my notes in my iPad because I thought, oh gosh, I don't want to be that person, who's sat there when they bring out the food going, oh, what did I order? Is that mine? Oh, I'm not sure. When they say, oh, who's this for? So no, I didn't have to worry too much because obviously I went for the vegan option, and there was only, I think, one vegan option for the the starter, the main course and the dessert. So yeah, it wasn't too tricky, but also I want to look forward to it. So I wanted to write down what I was having. I know that beetroot featured somewhere. I think it was like beetroot something for my starter. So looking forward to that. I love beetroot. Yeah, really like beetroot. I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who purchased, one of the mystery junk journal packs last week. So yeah, thank you so much. I am kind of busy, making more things to stock in my shop. I know I had said I was going to try and really, my best to keep it well stocked, between now and Christmas. So yeah, hopefully I will do a bit of a restock nearer the end of the week. Just at the moment, obviously, I put that to one side and worked on my Christmas kit. So yeah, the restock will come, but it will be later on in the week, potentially at the weekend. So yeah, I do apologise for that. I had wanted to be a little bit better, but it's very hard, kind of like making things all the time, and two different things, i.e. like the digital stuff and the the physical things. So yeah, and I like making both equally, so it's not like I have a preference or anything. I like them both just as much. So yeah, it's kind of like, ooh. Right, okay, put this on. Oh my goodness, I'm actually getting really hot. I've still got my onesie on. Well, not still got it on. Obviously, I've been to the gym and things. But yeah, I've still got my onesie on, i.e. I got home, had a shower, got dressed, and then I stuck my onesie on over the top of my clothes. So I've currently got a jumper, a cardigan, and my onesie, and a skirt and a pair of tights. And yeah, I'm just beginning to warm back up. So yeah, and it's taken a long time to get to the point where I'm like warming up again, but finally I'm warming up. So yeah, right, I'm thinking I might as well cut these all down together. So put those kind of together like that, yeah, and then just snip them all in together. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I had such a lot of fun making the the Christmas kit, because and I know I talked about this, it's very hard once you've made a few of a similar theme, i.e. Christmas, just like when I said about the Halloween, you do kind of like struggle to then come up with something original and different. So coming up with a different sort of idea each year is quite hard. So yeah, anyway, I didn't know really kind of what to do. And then I thought, oh, how about, you know, when people say, you know, dog's not just for Christmas. And I thought, well, now I've got my lovely dog and I'm now, you know, sucked in by loving those little gorgeous dogs. I thought that would be a really nice theme to do. So yeah, I hope that you guys like it. Obviously I've just shown you a couple of pages, but yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys think it's a very nice kit. So, you know, and I think it will work whether you wanted to do a very quite, you know, super vintage type style journal, or quite a modern one, or, you know, even scrapbooking and things. I think it would kind of work okay for, you know, because it's got lots of elements which I think would just go right across the board, really. So yeah, right, just going to take this and trim it down along this edge. So okay. There we go. Okay, let's take this one up here, like that. Oh my goodness, it's going to be one of those days, I think, where the time's just whizzing by. I've just looked, I'm sure it says 50 minutes. I think I've already stopped the camera, didn't I? Can't remember. Oh, I stopped it just to move the camera. So I might just have to decorate one up now, because otherwise I'm seriously running over time. So yeah, I might just have to call it quits here and just decorate one. So just put these pages out together. There we go. Like that, and that one just like that. Okay, right. Oh my goodness, look at that. That looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay. Trim that down. Okie dokie. Right. That one goes in there. That one goes in there, and that one just, yeah, wraps around like that. Okay, right, so we've got those ones ready for stapling the pages in. So that's 3. But like I say, I think I should probably get on with decorating one now, because I'm aware that the time is kind of like ticking by. So let's do the Christmas one, just because obviously, you know, we are coming up for Christmas. So it's kind of nice to stick with the, you know, the Christmas theme. So I did coffee dye, obviously, some other Christmas paper, like I said. So let me just pull some of that in. Okay, right, now. So this is actually the vintage one, and this is obviously the brights. But, you know, I mean, you could easily mix the two in, couldn't you? Because I think they'd actually look, you know, pretty nice kind of mixed in. So I might just use this page here just to decorate this one up. So yeah, this is the patchwork page, which love to do a patchwork page, to be honest. Right, just wondering where to cut this in. Okay, maybe here. And then, yeah, maybe here like this. Okay, right, now I'm thinking maybe we will take this little chap here. This little gorgeous doggy. Let's just tear him out. Now, obviously in the ephemera part of the kit, there's a lot of fussy cuts. So, you know, I could have obviously brought those along and done something with those, but we'll just kind of, you know, play around with this, because this is what I've got here on the desk. But I might have that as my little front piece. So what I'll do is I'm just going to make a couple of things to stick into my pockets. So I'm going to just cut down another little section from here. Oops, just had to cut the dog's face off a little bit. Okay, and then let's take, right, let's take these two dogs here. Oops. Okay. And then I might as well take this one just because he's now there, just looking like he's on his own. Yeah, I don't want to leave him on his own. Right, so let's just make, with some of the little offcuts that we accumulated during the video. So let's just make a couple of little sort of pieces to tuck into the pockets. So I'm just going to hold this open like that. Okay, and yeah, let's just take this here. Okey-dokey. Oh, I also watched the snooker last night. So yeah, really boring, I know, but I actually quite like watching snooker, funnily enough. I don't watch any sport whatsoever, but snooker, weirdly, I actually don't mind watching. So yeah, I watched the snooker, and it was the championships. I think it was the UK championships, and again, I don't know whether this person is like famous all around the world, so you know, I apologize if he is, and I'm, you know, being like really kind of disrespectful, but I don't really know whether he is or not. So yeah, Ronnie O'Sullivan, he's like the, you know, the snooker player, you know, or a British snooker player, and yeah, he won it, and it had been, I think they said it had been the 8th time he's won the UK championship. And he first won it when he was, did they say 17 or 18? 17, I think they said. And he's now actually 47. He's just going to be 48 in a couple of weeks, they said. And so he's now holds the record for being the oldest, both the oldest and the youngest person to ever win the UK championship. So I mean, isn't that just so cool? I mean, imagine being like not only the, you know, the youngest person, but then your career has had so much longevity that you actually have now been the oldest person to win it ever as well. So I mean, that's kind of incredible, isn't it? Yeah, he played I nearly said a round. No, he played a match against, it was this lovely Chinese gentleman. I think his name was Jing. I'm so sorry, I can't remember. I'm so terrible with names. Anyway, he played against him, and he again has been on the circuit for a long time. So, you know, he's quite a well-known, you know, player, even though I am so shocking with names and do not recall, you know, how to pronounce his name or whether it's Jing, Ding. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Anyway, he also has been on the circuit for a long time, and yeah, the final match was kind of with him, and suddenly this, you know, this Ronnie O'Sullivan, he just like really kind of pulled it out the bag. So he'd not been playing, I'm not saying he wasn't playing well, because that's just like, you know, really rude, because I mean, as if I could play anything at all, but yeah, he'd had sort of a couple of off matches. I think I watched some on Friday, and I think it was on Friday he'd had a couple of off matches. So, you know, kind of, as we all have off days, don't we? And anyway, he just kind of like pulled it right back from the brink, and just, well, he's finishing, you know, matches really, the last two, but particularly the last one was like, wow, amazing. And then he just did this thing at the end where he just kind of like went round the table kind of clearing up, and wow, he was just like, you know, sort of mesmerizing to watch how effortlessly he kind of just, you know, went around the table like that, and just yeah, just kind of like cleared up all the balls. So yeah, it was really kind of quite, you know, quite an exciting thing to watch. I mean, obviously not if you don't really watch snooker, I realise, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was quite fun to watch, and yeah, it was good. So yeah, that was just yesterday evening. Sorry, I'm just leaning down to get some trim here. So struggling to find any now that's going to be the right colour. Oh my goodness, look at this lace. I mean, do I dare do that? That's some lace that I dyed once with something. I don't even recall what. But yeah, it looks quite pretty on there, doesn't it? Here we go. Some lace. Oops, sorry, just jogged my table. Yeah, anyway, so that was, you know, really cool, to be honest, to watch that. So very fun. Very fun. Like I say, I don't watch any sport, and you know, that just for some reason I quite like watching snooker. Even as a child I quite liked watching it. It's just like, you know, the only kind of sport that I don't actually mind watching, you know, and actually kind of do quite enjoy watching it. I like the silence of it, you know. It's quite sort of yeah, quite almost like therapeutic. It's quite restful in, you know, in its kind of, the, you know, the obviously the whole room is silent, and yeah, I quite enjoy that. So, you know, whereas like football, I mean, oh, and you know, I'm not trying to offend anybody who loves watching football or anything, but oh my goodness, I hate, you know, that raucous kind of like crowd, you know, like that loud cheering, you know. It just, it's a horrible noise, and I don't really enjoy that. I mean, I don't like football anyway, you know. I don't have kind of any interest in watching it. But yeah, for some reason, on top of no interest in watching it, I just really do hate the noise from the crowd, which, you know, I don't know what that's about, but it's just not really something that I sort of enjoy at all. Whereas snooker, like I say, you know, although that sounds really lame and boring, I mean, it's actually, yeah, I much more enjoy it. And particularly last night, you know, it was really, really good. Okay. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? I mean, I wasn't planning on using that green lace, but it just kind of like caught my eye in my little ephemera type trim bag, you know, that's beside me. I thought, oh, perhaps I'll try that. Right, let's just... Right, so I'm going to leave this hanging out a little bit, you know, so we've got quite a scrappy feel going on then. So just press that down with my white there. And then, yeah, just going to put this one on here. Might just pull the lace down slightly. Okay, oops. Oh, I'm surprised I haven't had to stop the camera actually and take my onesie off, because I'm quite hot now. I'm sure I said this the other day, but yeah, I mean, onesies, oh, you know, they're kind of like, people laugh about them, don't they? But I mean, nothing keeps you as warm as a onesie. I just, yeah, love it. For keeping you warm, there's nothing quite beats it. So yeah, really nice to have it on and warm myself up. There we go. Right, even though it's actually probably not even that cold today, to be honest, but for some reason I obviously got cold when I was at the gym, and then well, you know, coming home from the gym, and now I just haven't been able to warm up since. Okay, so this was where I said, you know, I've got those little staples, so I probably just put some lace or something on the staples to cover them up, and then maybe we'll do something with these. Perhaps I'll just have them. I wonder whether I should have some more of that gorgeous green lace. I mean, now I've used it once, I kind of think might want to use it a bit more. I can't really see which is the right way and the wrong way. I think that's the right way. Okay, so something like that, and then just wonder whether we might want to have a bit of velvet lace or something down there. I mean, I probably want to keep this not too bulky, if I'm truthful, because obviously, you know, this is going to fold up and this is on the inner edge. So I can't really afford to have things actually hanging over, because of course that's going to then, you know, get squashed when I fold it up. So I think what I'll do is just put this lace down here, and then we'll just put this little bit of lace down just there on the edge like that, but literally snug up to the edge, if you see what I mean. It's not overhanging at all, which, I mean, ordinarily I like things, you know, overhanging quite a lot, but yeah, because I'm trying to keep it you know, in place, if you see what I mean. Now I'm going to be really over the top here and use my hot glue, only because I want to make sure this is just glued down very quickly. So I would not normally use hot glue really to glue down a you know, just paper piece really, but I just wanted it, you know, instantly glued. So there we go. So that's my inner pages with little flippy thingamybobs. Then we've got pocket here at the front as well. So we might need to tear off another piece, because I do really like him on the front, you know, to have him on the front. So just have a look. Well, let's just take this one. Okay. There we go. So like I say, I have actually mixed now the two kits. So this is the vintage kit, the one that I'm tearing up, and I've mixed it in with the bright kit. So, you know, they actually look quite good together, don't they? I mean, again, that wasn't my intention, you know, and certainly when I made them, I wasn't expecting to use them like that, but because those were the ones that I had coffee dyed, and I didn't really want to then have to coffee dye other pieces. And I'm a little bit funny like that. I don't know about you guys, but if I've coffee dyed one thing, I feel I have to coffee dye everything, you know, on a piece. Otherwise I think, you know, I'm not quite sure that that goes, you know, brilliantly. So yeah, it's either coffee dye or no coffee dye. I don't really generally, you know, mix up between the two. So I'm actually thinking I might prefer that in there. Maybe just have a bit of lace across there, to be honest, because we don't really want all the pockets looking the same, do we? So oops, put that on like that. Okay, and then we will just make a little booklet, I think. So okay. This one, okie dokie, right. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this down here. Oh, awful cutting, even from here I can see that that's terrible, but never mind. So yeah, fold that in. And then I'm thinking, make that a sort of, you know, flippy piece like that. So I'm just going to staple these couple of pages together. Again, I can use that cool nifty stapler. Ordinarily, I would kind of like fold the thingamybobs in, you know, the pages over to be able to get my stapler in. But with this stapler, obviously, you know, I can just go in. Now, which was the side I had to trim? Which was my awful cut inside on that side? So yeah, just want to kind of like make sure that I can get in to cut that down. So staple here, and then staple on this side. Oops. Like that, okie dokie, and then I'm just going to trim this down on this edge because it's very wonky. Okay, so yeah, it's the little flippy pad there, and let's just see from that little collage sheet, have I got any other little dog pieces left? So we could have something like that, or even, oh, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Because, yep, it's the wrong way. Let me just take off this one instead. Oops. Okie dokie. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm biased, you know, since I've had my little gorgeous doggy, but honestly, who doesn't love a dog after all? So, yeah. I thought this would be nice. Nice and a different theme, you know. So, oops, put that on there. Okay, might be able to use this bit of lace that I cut out now. Just on there like that, I think. So, again, just glue this down in place. Like that. Okie dokie, actually. Let's just turn that round a bit. There we go. And then, yeah, I'm going to just be ridiculous again and just use the hot glue, just because then, you know, I don't have to sit here pressing it or anything. And I just know it's, you know, it's fixed in place. So there we go. And I'm putting him up to the edge because obviously he's got that straight edge. So there we go. Press that down. Now, just got these little trimmy kind of pieces, so maybe just have a little daisy kind of there. So yeah, I mean, how gorgeous does that look? That just goes into that pocket, and when I say just goes, I really literally mean it only just goes. Might have to actually trim that down slightly more in you know, in terms of width, because when we fold it up I might find it doesn't really kind of fit there at all. And then, yeah, could just have like even just a bit of lace coming out from under there, to be honest. Looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay, like that. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous is this looking? Love, love, love. Now, just suddenly thought, this obviously is my front, isn't it? I was thinking this was my front, but this of course is my front because this is my little wraparound piece. So I'm going to put some lace on here, which obviously, you know, the lace is then going to cover up those staples and, you know, tidy that sort of underneath of the staples up. So, yep, just pop the lace down there. Okie dokie. And then just snip that out. I'm so sorry that this video is just dragging on and on. Perhaps these weren't such a genius idea for mass making after all, because they're quite long-winded, aren't they, to make? But I do think they're lovely. Right, now I'm thinking this gorgeous velvet ribbon. Now, just wondering. Yeah, so let's just glue that down here. Okay, and then just, yep, that's going to wrap around nicely like that. Okay, oh gosh, now I've got something sticky on there. Oh, what an idiot, I did not notice that. Right, okay. Oh well, it's fine, it just about tucks in, so yeah, it's not the end of the world. And actually, to be honest, with you know, velvet ribbon, you really don't want too much because it would become very, you know, very bulky very quickly. So then we've got our gorgeous dog, and I'm thinking again that green lace. Okay. I'm not so sure I like it on the front. Let me just cut this down. Yeah, as I said, I've dyed this lace really ages ago, and yep, I've just ordered it, which is kind of ridiculous, isn't it? But I just thought it was so lovely. Not been able to bring myself to use it. I mean, how cute does that dog look? So yeah, maybe something like that. What do we think? I quite like it. I'm actually wondering whether I might like a bit of, you know, plain or something in the background, just to separate out the two papers, if you see what I mean. So, oh, not like that. That looks terrible, doesn't it? That looks terrible. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay. Oh, I don't know now, because I quite like seeing Santa actually. Yeah, I probably, do I like it better without? I don't know now. It's one of those that then I move it and think, oh, perhaps it did look better there. No, I'm going to have it without it, I think. It does kind of need something, doesn't it? But I'm not sure what. I wonder if we could have a bit of this in the background. So, oops. I'll just try this one. Okay. Oh yeah, that's better, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, right. So do we want that like that, or do we want it coming out there? Actually, I think probably there. So just quickly glue this down. Okay, and I'm just going to put this lace down as well. Okay. Like that. And then that gorgeous little dog, have that there. And again, just going to be really ridiculous and, you know, hot glue this. I mean, for no other reason, honestly, than just, you know, so as I know it's glued down instantly. Because, you know, I've dragged this video out enough without now making you all sit watching me hold this in place. So yeah, so like that. Now I'm just going to check whether I want to have any blingy trim or anything. So I've just got my little bag of trims here. So yeah, let's just take this and then oops. Oh. Let's see. I mean, everything looks better with bling, doesn't it, to be honest? So actually, I'm just wondering whether I might want to have a little bit. Have I got any of that crochet lace left, you know, that I used for here? No, have I used that? No, I thought I had a little bit left and I thought, well, that's weird. Where's that gone? So yeah, just to finish it off, I think I'm just going to put a bit of crochet lace down there. Okay, like that. And just glue this one down. Like that. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? And then I'm thinking, because it's Christmas, you know, and I'm always saying, aren't I, about, oh, I can't put red and green together because it reminds me of Christmas. Well, hey, I can today, can't I? So today is the perfect excuse. So I've got some bows here. Now, do we want the bow on the side here, or do we want one over here? I mean, it would probably be way too much to have two, but put the bow down over here, just on top of that ribbon. Okay, like that. And then, oops, oh, come out. all those hot glue threads. Yeah, it will probably be too much to have two, but I will just quickly try a second one just in case it looks good. So obviously this is going to wrap around, and you know, obviously I made that little bit of a mistake, didn't I, with not realising that that had some glue on it. But oh, I quite like it with the two bows, actually. It can take it, can't it? You know, and I mean, if you can't be over the top at Christmas, when can you be? So yeah, I think we can just about get away with it at Christmas. And I'm thinking possibly even a little diamante daisy somewhere or something. Oh, that might just be really random and not really have a place there, to be honest. Yeah. So yeah, if I had my fussy cuts, you know, printed out and, you know, coffee dyed, I may have put something else on, but yeah, I think we'll leave it like that now for today. So yeah, really hope that you like it. I mean, I just think they're super scrumptious, and to be honest, they're quite a sort of you know, what's the word, you know, useful piece of ephemera. I mean, they could kind of work as a standalone piece that you could actually send as Happy Mail or something, I'm thinking. So yeah, they're really, really nice, aren't they? So I completed two, decorated obviously one, completed another one. I've got these ones ready to assemble. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Have I got another one ready to assemble? Oh, what's that? Oh, I did. Must have been. So 4, 5, 6. So, I mean, not great, but not too bad. I mean, like I say, they are quite sort of, you know, quite a substantial piece of ephemera. But yeah, I hope you like them. And like I say, that new kit is in my Etsy shop, so I hope you really like that as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, I will be doing an Etsy, not an Etsy, a Shabbydabbydoodah website restock later on this week, probably nearer the weekend. So keep your eyes out. So thank you so much for watching. And yeah, thank you and have a great week, everyone. I will see you in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.